Okay, I wanted to ask you some questions that I'm sure that we're all wondering, and I'm hoping we can maybe just get some really cool, short, concise answers to what we're all curious about. For someone who is completely new, what is hypopressive training?
Hypopressive training, well, okay, so I'll just be like a little bit nerdy. The method that I do is very specific hypopressive training,
Right.
and we include like a lot more techniques than just hypopressive training, just to have said that. But what we do and our method is a complete, like, full body core and pelvic floor rehab method that involves breath and release of tension. And what sets it apart from other techniques is that we are actually able to get your automatic function going again so that you don't have to constantly keep doing these exercises for the rest of your life.
Right, because we don't want that. We want something that actually works, and then maybe revisit it if we need it.
Mm-hmm. And the goal is to build like a foundation in your core and pelvic floor. So you're basically like just getting back to factory settings in a way.
Yeah.
In a way, obviously, like you can't erase a birth or you can't erase a pregnancy or an injury, but really just getting things working the way they should again, so that you can do other things and just feel free in your body again.
And with that in mind, who is hypopressive training for, and like what is like the true benefits from it?
So the way I've designed it is aimed at core and pelvic floor, like rehab and foundation work. But it has so many applications. Like it will help you with breathing issues, breathing pattern issues, postural issues, like if you have scoliosis or back injuries. It's amazing as we get older because it helps with balance and it helps with nervous system regulation. So even people who have like a lot of nervous system issues, the breathing component also affects the vagus nerve. So it's a really like global exercise form. You also, like, especially for us who are hypomobile, you also work with like all the types of muscle fibers in this training method. So even though you're not really like training really hard, you're still getting muscle tone. People who have fibromyalgia, it really like you can use it in a lot of different applications. My goal, I want to help women with their core and pelvic floor issues, and I want to help women of all ages live their best life and feel free in their bodies.
Right. And I've noticed, because I mentioned this before in my YouTube, but there in my course right now, there are 60 people, which is a lot. Do we all have the same issues, Sadie?
Yes, no.
Oh no.
I have participants who use it preventatively.
Okay.
So I had like 2 join on Monday. They were like, I don't really recognize myself in any of these issues, but I definitely yeah, exactly. But I definitely want to avoid it. Like my mom had it, my aunt had it, my sister had it, and I just know that this is something that like can happen to me, or like I'm hypermobile, or I've had this injury, and like I'm just trying to keep things working. It's really a range. Like some people have what medically somebody would say very small issues, but it really affects like how they live their lives, and so they really want to do something about it, and they're worried about getting older, they're worried about having a baby, like they're worried about and they're trying to prevent and rehab. And other people like have had issues for 30 to 40 years and not gotten help and thought that this was their life for the rest of their lives. And they're like, no, I'm going to do something with this now. So we really get the whole spectrum.
And we haven't really talked about this, but I've been speaking about the Hypopressive Training Norway group and method, but you do also have international courses.
Yeah. Internationally, we ended up calling it the Reset Program.
Right. It's a lot easier to say.
It's a lot easier to say, but I had already established my brand for like 4 years and worked with like thousands of women one-to-one, and I just wasn't going to do a rebrand. So, but it is a mouthful. The Hypopressive Training Norway method is a mouthful, yes. But internationally, we call it the Reset. It's the same program. It's aimed at English-speaking clients and all over the world.
Amazing. And we have a discount code for that too. You can check it out in the description. Okay, why can our symptoms sometimes feel worse before they feel better?
Okay, a quick answer to this. Part of it has to do with something called proprioception.
Okay.
So that's like when you start working in the way that we work, you connect to these muscles, fibers, connective tissue with your nervous system, because what we're trying to do is kickstart a function. Like if you think about a lot of traditional forms of training, you isolate the muscle, you think about the muscle, you contract the muscle, right? But what we're doing here is you're breathing, you're doing a pose, and then the muscles activate because of that. You're not thinking, lift my pelvic floor, contract my abs, etc.
Right.
And because of that, you're engaging the connection between your brain and these parts of your body. And in a lot of cases, if you've had a traumatic connection to these parts of your body, or lack of blood flow because of tension, or a combination of both of them, which is the most likely scenario, which usually happens, there just hasn't been that much feedback. So a lot of people can experience, I'm not saying that this is like 100% of the time, but a lot of people can experience like increased feeling, like you notice things a lot more.
Okay.
It's not necessarily, this is what happens in one scenario, it's not necessarily, I'm not saying it's like all in your head, but it kind of is, because your brain is just sending more messages.
Right.
It's like, here's a pelvic floor, here's a pelvic floor, here's a pelvic floor, all the time, because it's just reconnecting. We're also increasing blood flow, which again increases sensation and feeling. So that is like a necessary part of the rehab process, because your brain can't fix something it can't find.
Right.
Sadly.
Okay.
So that's one issue. The other issue is that because you're repatterning things, you're loosening intention, which might have been there for many, many years. You're shifting things around. You're shifting your breathing pattern. You're shifting your pressure
Oh my God,
distribution.
I shifted my entire breathing pattern. That's one of the first things I asked you. Wait, is this not the normal way to breathe? So, yeah.
Yeah. And that just like, if you think about your starting point, like a lot of people think like, oh, but I'm getting rid of tension, so things should be feeling better. But some of that tension was like trying to stabilize something. It wasn't doing a great job, but it was like the best that it could do.
Right.
And so in that process between the tension and then the lack of tension and strength, building up muscle and tissue strength takes at least 8 to 10 weeks. At least. It's like physically impossible. You're on the way, but you're not like building new cells.
Right. My brain will tell me otherwise.
Yes, and many will. But so what happens in the process is you're loosening tension, you're like recalibrating pressure and breathing patterns, etc. So if that tension was like masking weakness or soreness or compensating for something that was painful or uncomfortable, there's a vacuum there in between where you release the tension and things shift around to you're actually gaining strength. And so in that period, you can feel, oh, my back hurts more, or like I'm peeing more, oh no, it's wrong, or I feel more like pressure in my pelvic floor. It's just that things are rearranging.
Right.
And it is hard to trust the process, and that's why I'm like, come to the session, come to the live, let us help you, like book a one-on-one with a trainer, just like get help so that you hear that enough times so you're like, okay, I just have to keep going. And sometimes if that is like really, there's a lot, like we have a really like heavy history of like a lot of things causing physical tension, etc. I'm like, go get some treatment, get some help to like really release those things deeply, so that the training and the strengthening can happen quicker.
Right.
But like the only way out is through. If you don't want to go back to where you were, obviously.
Exactly. Okay.
I'm sorry.
I love being a woman.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Bad news, good news.
Yeah, bad news, good news. I agree. But yeah, that's great. Okay. What is the biggest mistake that we make when we're starting with hypopressive training?
Thinking we're doing everything right. It's a really different way to exercise, to use your body, and the way I've explained it in the course, like I've taken my experience from working with thousands of women just one-on-one and seen how they process the information that I give them and what they do with it, and tried to like explain things in a way that will be understandable for a wide range of women. Like some women are super used to working out and they know exactly where each one of their body parts is, and other women you can be like, stand on your left foot, your left foot, your left,
the other left
foot,
yeah.
right? So like you have to like have this language that everybody can understand and also is not too overwhelming, so you actually like want to watch the videos, and it's not like 3 hours long. So what I see is like, especially people with like training backgrounds are like, oh, I know how to do this. That's I got this, And they're like, Okay. So like what we did earlier when you were like, I was like, we got to go a little bit back, a little bit back, a little bit further back, even further back. And also our brains play tricks on us because this is like what we're basically doing is getting your body back to neutral. So we're trying to like fix your posture, right?
Yeah.
But your body has a level, like when you're building something, right? It's like it has already established what's level.
Yeah.
So your body's used to like, this is straight.
Right?
This is right. This is what I'm doing every day.
Mm-hmm.
So then when we come here, your body's like, this is wrong. This feels so weird, you know? And so it's just like really recalibrating that. That's like the most, we trick ourselves, you know? We're like, oh, I got this. And then what I think is the biggest shame with this is that I see women like not looking for help, or like I'm like, make sure that you feel that things are going forward. So like make sure that you're feeling a lift, that you're feeling a contraction, that you're getting some kind of progress, then you know you're on the right track. But I see a lot of women get stuck in this like, I'm doing everything right, they don't check, they don't reach out for help. They're like, I've been doing the exercises all the time and nothing's happened. I'm like, but did you feel that something was happening?
I feel like that's like a red flag though. If you're exercising for 8 weeks and not noticing anything, something is wrong.
Yeah, surprisingly, a lot of women will just think that they are the problem. Oh, this didn't work for me. Instead of being like, hey guys, I'm doing this and nothing's happening. And we'll be like, oh, check this and this and this and this. Oh, none of those things were doing. Oh, okay.
Right.
And that's also like a psychological thing that I see happen a lot. So that's always like, whenever people get started, I'm always like, use me, use my team. Like, that's why we're here. If you don't see this progress, if you don't feel like things are going forward, like, get help. That's what we do.
Yeah. And I feel like I also want to touch on this because it does cost money to buy this course, and honestly, it's not the biggest sum, but it's also not cheap. So definitely using all of those perks should be, you know, just for the price of the course, you should be reaching out.
Yeah, just for getting your money's worth. Like,
exactly.
And that's why we do it like that as well. Like, some people are like, don't you have a cheaper package? I'm like, I know what it takes to get results. I've been doing this for almost 10 years.
Yeah.
Like, I know I can't do like, oh, here's this free 3-week course. And like, it doesn't work. You you need the support. A lot of people need the check-in, they need the motivation, they need like to be able to be like, am I doing this right? What does this look like? You know, in the easiest way possible.
Yeah.
So,
and you do have a free webinar every once in a while.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, and then there's lots of information. Me and my team are in the background. We answer every question.
Yeah. All right. So if women feel, or anyone, but especially women, feel disconnected from their body after birth, or in my case, loss, or both, or age, how can it help aside from the physical part?
Like one of the things which I mentioned now before, also was like this, when you're working on these patterns and you're working with the breath and you're working with your balance and how do I actually like position my body? How does that work? I don't know. You are creating this really strong connection between your brain and your body. Which is like a side effect of the training. Like, you're doing exercises, but you're creating like this feedback loop where your body is like, your brain is really like patterning, like, how does my body feel? Like, how does it move? How does it feel when I do this? How does it feel when I do that? And if we think about that in terms of like moving through the world, right? There's also like a thing of like, if we talk about like our sexual energy, or like how do we feel like as women, I think about like this, you know, you're in touch with yourself. You feel like if you're in a situation that doesn't feel right, like you're more in touch with your body. Like, this doesn't feel good. Like, I'm like scrunching in and doing this thing again. Don't need that, right? Or like, you know, you just get more in tune with yourself. I wouldn't say it's necessarily like everything's physical, everything's mental, but like, you know, our sex life is such an important part of our lives. Like, and if you don't feel good in your body, like, you don't really want to be intimate with somebody else.
Yeah.
And it's such an important part of like our personality, our relationships, like just really feeling like comfortable honoring your body. Like, so that is a really big aspect to it. I think like way too many women like have unsatisfying sex lives. They don't know like how to like create pleasure in their own bodies. So that's a really big deal. And also for me, like quality of life, like I've always been a really spontaneous person. Like if something happens, I'm like, I'll do it, or I'll help, or like I just love being able to do that. And like that was the biggest thing that was for me, like when I lost that part of myself. And that's something that like nobody cared. Like none of the doctor, like they were just like, you have a healthy baby. Like what? And I'm like, yeah, but I'm not myself. Like I'm the person they're like, oh, we're gonna go for a picnic. Yeah, you know. No, I can't do anything. Like, and so just being able to be yourself and show up as like yourself, whatever that is. Maybe you're an introvert, you don't want to go anywhere. Like I'm also that, but but just being able to be like, I choose, and there's not like symptoms or things that are holding me back from living the life that I want. I think that's super important.
And for all of you guys who don't know Sadie's story and why this got started, you can definitely check that out. I will link a video in the description so you can go see her background. And also that's super annoying that people say, well, at least you have a healthy baby. As a person who actually have dead babies, that is so annoying because two things can be correct at once. You can both be happy for having a healthy baby or sad for not having a healthy baby, and also want to, you know, be able to ski and also want to be able to go on a picnic. Two things can be correct at once, and it doesn't, you know, exclude the other. Yeah, I was super happy about having a healthy child, but I also wanna, you know.
It would be great if I also could work well. Like, do I have to choose?
Yeah.
Like, maybe
You don't.
I have so many friends who didn't have to choose. Like,
Yeah.
So yeah, really just being able to choose the life that you want, I think, and it's so dependent on having a well-functioning body. It doesn't stop you from doing the things that you want to do.
And I think also maybe some people can recognize this, but when you've lost a kid or lost something or had an abortion or something that makes you kind of disconnect a little bit from your body, I think it's normal to fall into a sort of self-blaming state where you're like, this is how my body's supposed to feel now. That kind of going through a loss, that you're supposed to be punished, that you're supposed to like just accept your body as it is, but you really don't have to. And I feel like this sort of training is necessary for me to have good quality of life after loss.
Yeah, and there's so many women who go through like not what you've been through, also what you've been through, but like surgeries, you know, huge injuries, car accidents.
Oh, you should be happy you're alive.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You should be happy that you've got the surgery.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many women in particular should just be happy that, and that's just wrong.
And I like that's really why I do what I do. Like, there has been like a lot of resistance to what I do, but the reason why I do it is like, I truly believe that women of all ages should be able to feel free in their bodies and like live the lives that they want to. And obviously, like, most of us go through horrible things in our lives at some point. Like, I'm not, you know, we can't, but like, if you can get back to a place where like you can function the best that you can, and you can take really good care of yourself, like that's an amazing starting point for the rest of your life. Yeah.
And also, obviously, we should accept things that happen, but also not settle. Okay, sorry. And I'm sure that more people than I are wondering about this. We've talked loosely about it, but how long does it take to notice change?
So like you were on it like a little bit earlier. It's like I noticed results right away.
Yeah.
And you noticed also results really quickly.
Yeah.
And I talked about a little bit about this when I'm talking about training. Like, what you notice if you get really quick results is because you're loosening up tension, you're repatterning your breathing, you're actually like reversing the pressure, but you're not building strength yet.
Right. So
it's totally normal to not feel a lot until like 6 to 8 weeks, because that's when the strength really starts to kick in. So it really varies, and some people come to me like they've had these issues for 40 years. So like the tension, it's not like your baby tension, like, you know, your 33-year-old body. It's just like, yes, I'm ready. I know there's a lot of heavy tension there too.
But still, 40 years.
40 years in the making, right? So like we need to like peel back the layers and stuff. And some of those women also get super quick results.
Right.
It really, there's such a like, so what I say is like, as long as you're doing it correctly, you feel a progression right? So you feel like, okay, something is happening. I feel like things are moving forward.
Right.
I feel a deeper activation. I understand it more. It makes more sense in my body.
Right.
Maybe small symptoms are starting to shift. They will probably not be the symptoms that you want to shift first because your body's prioritizing and not your brain. So like you want your pelvic organ prolapse to be fixed and your body's like, oh, shoulders that can breathe, right? And you're like, I don't care about that. So your body is still going to decide, like it has a list and it's like, oh, any chance we get to fix these things, I'm going to do this. And you're like, no, start at the bottom.
Right.
So as long as there's progress, as long as things are moving forward, like we're great. You're gonna get there. You know, because a lot of people are like, oh, I'm not like all good after 12 weeks. But how long have you had these issues? Like,
Right.
oh, since I was a child. Oh, so maybe we need to work a little bit more. It's gonna be fine.
Right.
But I see like we want to see something happen, progress, small symptoms, small shifts. The training gets more effective the first 6 weeks. If not, something's wrong, and we need to go in and fix it. And that's why we offer so much support.
Yeah. Fantastic. Sadie, thank you so much for this wonderful session.
Oh, I'm so glad you came. Thanks for the talk.
And you guys know this, but we are collaborating on this journey for me. And if you are also interested in hypopressive training, you can check out my links and my discount codes in the description. It is both in Scandinavian languages and English. And as always, I am sharing this because I'm generally interested in women empowering their selves and their bodies and, you know, regaining that total control. So this is all genuine, even though we are with the owner here, right? It's
Yes.
true. But let me know in the comments if you have any questions, both for me or for Sadie or the Hypopressive Norway training team. And I will see you in the next episode. Bye.
Bye.